Welcome back to the You're Too Sensitive podcast with one of your most sensitive friends, Jade Peel. I'm really happy you're here. I don't know about you, but I think I need to start by taking a few deep breaths. Will you join me? Let's inhale through our nose. Fill up your belly, soften your shoulders, soften your jaw. Exhale, so slow, so slow, so slow. It's safe to be in this body. Inhale. Fill that belly, soften your shoulders, soften your jaw, soften your fingers. Exhale, so slow. This body is a good body. Thank you, precious body. Today I want to talk about how this journey of self-love started out with such a different... I really thought the self-love journey was about always loving myself and always thinking I looked beautiful every time I looked in the mirror. And I think also there was an underlying expectation that I would always feel good because I lived most of my life believing that the reason being human is so hard for me is because I'm ugly and fat. But in fact, that's not the reason. It's a very reasonable thing for my body to make that assumption given the cultural context and things people have told me my whole life. And our nervous system, well, she likes a quick fix. How do we fix not feeling good? I know how. Let's lose weight and let's get prettier. Then we'll feel good. And well, if you've ever lost a lot of weight, you get there and you're like, why don't I feel good? Now, there is a little bit of an ego boost, don't get me wrong. We live in a culture that praises thinness, so it does feel good for sure, but the underlying thing is and so then we pick apart something else about ourselves to fix, because wouldn't it be lovely if we could solve the conundrum of being human by fixing our bodies? This topic is very nuanced, and I'm going to do my best to try to honor all the nuance, and I'm certain I will leave out a lot of nuance. And like always, I'm not here for you to just agree with me. I'm here to plant my seeds of curiosity, and I would love for you to take it or leave it. What you do decide to take, maybe then it can ignite your own ideas, because that is how this works. It is a collective healing. We think that self-healing is, or at least I've heard a lot of people say that self-healing is a selfish thing. It's not, my loves. Because everything that I heal in within myself, it is a collective healing. I guarantee you. We are more intertwined than I think we like to admit. More connected than I think we even can begin to comprehend. But we're also on our own on this little journey. Doing our healing, doing our living, doing our beauty making. So what I really desire to hold as the main intention of this hour together is, for me, the conclusion I've come to after doing this work now for about 13 years straight is I love myself and I don't always like myself. And I feel like this can pretty much be for anything in life. But it took me a long time to get here. Like I said just a minute ago, I thought I had to like everything all the time. And well, that's, well, at least for me and in my experience of being human, there's dark days and there's bright days. There's excitement and there's sorrow. There's grief and there's joy. And there's everything in between. So where I finally arrived after feeling so lost in the self-love journey and being a photographer that was basing my entire business off of self-love, even though I was still struggling understanding what that even meant, because I struggled seeing photos of myself and I struggled looking in the mirror. I was like, how I do so much work on myself. Why am I still struggling looking in the mirror and looking at photos of myself? And it wasn't until only a handful of years ago that I finally started realizing, there might be always little parts, depending on my mood too, depending if I'm tired or exhausted or heartbroken or sick, that also impacts how I see myself. But I actually don't think it is a bad thing. In fact, I think it is an important thing to not always like things about ourselves. Why? Because, well, hopefully, at least for me, it is a motivation to expand into, to get curious about. If I just live in self-beratement, like, you're such a horrible person, you're just an ugly, fat cow that doesn't deserve anything, well, where am I going to go with that? And so where my healing took me was, okay, how can I love this body? How can I love when I make really horrible mistakes? How can I love myself when I say things that hurt someone? How can I love my darkest thoughts? How can I love all the rejected parts of myself? How can I love all of that? Well, it's not easy, but it's essential in my opinion. And for me, the key element is, okay, I love this body. This body I see as an ancient intelligence manifesting into this human form. I see her made of the same elements that Earth is made of. I'm just like her little sculpture, if you will. We all are, in my opinion. We're just her little precious sculptures that have been evolving its innate intelligence over all of these millions of years. How fantastic. This is the one that I happen to plop into. Okay. Like any art, we don't have to like it to be curious about it, to have reverence for the artist herself, in this case, Mother Nature. And I am a devotee of Mama Nature. And therefore I'm like, okay, Mama, I see. This is your little sculpture. Who am I to put it down? Yeah, I wish you looked different, because then I would have a lot more social currency. If I were thinner and looked a different way and knew how to dress in a way that make people's heads turn, and yeah, that would give me some social currency, which is kind of fun. It's a powerful thing to feel, but it is fleeting. That is for sure. There's no, at least in my opinion, there's no real love to be built on that, because it is very fleeting. Looks change. Accidents happen. So, well, yeah, it will be fun to be all those things. The thing is, I have been very thin. I have had cute outfits. I have been very successful. None of that made me happy. And then I was really confused. I was like triply confused once I got there. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm really successful. I was on the BBC. I've been on the Today Show. I'm looking thin. I'm kind of cute. Why am I not more happy? In fact, I feel even worse. Well, because I had a lot of inner work to do. Now, I wish I could go back to those moments, because she was a cute... I wish I could go back and enjoy those moments and understand that it wasn't that was not making me happy. It was just I had to do more internal work and find peace with my dark parts, with my unhappiness, with my ugly parts. I had to get curious about my exhaustion. I had to get curious about feeling so alone. I had to get curious about healing family things and ancestral wounds. And I I get curious about a lot of things. I had to forgive a lot. I had to hold myself accountable more. I had to learn how to feel safe not liking everything. How to feel safe not liking how I looked in the mirror. Learn how to feel safe when I say really stupid things. So now I'm 46 and I'm classified as obese. That's what the BMI says. The BMI PS is silly. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I don't care. If the BMI wants to say that I'm obese, that's fine with me. And I completely love this body. A lot of people would say, well, don't you want to be stronger and thinner? Does loving your body make you more lazy? For me, part of loving my body has been allowing myself to rest more. So yeah, I might look a little lazy to you. Part of my happiness was being less successful, which means working less, which means making less money, at least for me. I'm not saying this is what you should do. But for me, being less successful invites in more spaciousness, more rest. I need a lot of rest these days. Who knows if it'll always be like this, but it is how it is right now. And so, learning to love the miracle that is this body, even with her, as I'm sitting here, I can feel my fat rolls and I'm sweating because it's hot in here. And, there's always a little discomfort in my body. And I have been, especially this week, oh my goodness, I've been so tired. I've been so tired. And learning how to hold that gently. I wish I didn't feel tired. And I think that's a big part of this work. Or not work, part of this opportunity to heal is feeling at peace no matter how we feel. Now, if you've listened to a few other episodes, you know that I truly, deeply believe that we somaticize our feelings into pain. And I think most of our pain, chronic pain, I know this really infuriates a lot of people, which I feel like if me saying that chronic pain is somaticized emotion, if that is really triggering for you, isn't that a fabulous opportunity to get curious about? Why is that triggering? A lot of people say, well, you're saying that I'm making up my pain. No, my loves. No, we are not making this up. It's debilitating pain. In fact, it could kill us. What I'm saying is, why don't we take a look? What if taking a look at the hardest parts of our life, repressed emotions, repressed traumas, finding rituals that help us? For me, that's breath work, but it also is journaling. It also is sacred rage sessions. It's many things for me. When I have low back pain, I know, there's something that needs to move through this body. When I have a headache, same thing. When my knees feels bad, same thing. When it feels like I have plantar fasciitis, same thing. Okay, this body's speaking because, for me, being human is really tricky. I have to repress so much just to do things that I think for a lot of other people aren't that hard. But that's just how it is for me. All right. I don't feel sorry for myself about that, but I do know that I do need more spaciousness to tend to that. And through that, I will say I've had success. Again, I am no doctor. I'm not prescribing or telling you should do. I am all for Western medicine as well, to a degree. But I feel like Western medicine still hasn't caught up to the understanding that we somaticize so much of our emotions. And it shows up. Just yesterday, I had a client who was telling me about her family member who is about to get surgery for bulging discs, and I didn't say anything. It was really hard for me because that was the original OG. Dr. Sarno was trying to help people with back pain and bulging discs, and And I feel for this woman because she's going to go and have surgery. And what I really feel is really upset that the surgeon is because not all back surgeries usually, they don't bring relief for the big, I don't know what the percentages are, but back pain resurfaces again for most people because bulging discs are a normal abnormality that a lot of us already have. And I know what I'm saying might trigger you, and I invite you, instead of, you can feel triggered, but I invite you to be curious, why am I so triggered by this? Why is it so triggering to consider that we have some power in our healing? Why is that triggering? I would love to know. We're not dismissing the absolute debilitating pain we can be in with chronic pain in these bodies. We're not dismissing that. It's not in our quote-unquote head. No way. It is absolutely in our body. But what if the solution wasn't a physical one from a doctor, but instead an emotional one, attending to our spiritual self, attending to learning how to find ways to move emotion out of our body, energy out of our body, stagnation out of our body. And I do believe in the next 20 years or so, we're going to see more of this in Western medicine. I really do. And I hope I live long enough to see this because I'm so passionate about it. Because why? It all ties in to the love for this body. I've been a massage therapist now since 2000. So I've heard a lot of people say my body is against me. My body is against me. My body wants to kill me, I've heard people say. This body is where we feel all of the things, the pain, the anxiety, the depression, the debilitating chronic illnesses, autoimmune. The body is a place where we feel all of the things, and it makes sense. We want to assume that she's against us or be angry at our bodies. And what if we could just switch that lens a little bit? What if, in fact, she's not against us? What if our bodies are doing its very ancient language of trying to protect us in this modern world that it doesn't really understand? And our ancestors had to live in a way with a lot more danger, like actual danger that you can see. We don't have that kind of danger these days. But what we do have is a lot of dangerous repression of our true selves, of our emotions, of having to live lives we don't really want to live, of having to work jobs we don't really want to work, of having to say things we don't really want to say, or saying things that we don't really want to say, and masking, and everyone's like, well, why is this so hard for me? Well, because a lot of us struggle with functioning in this current paradigm. And the fact that we do function in this current paradigm is phenomenal. But it is not an opportunity to berate our precious bodies. And why do we have anxiety? And well, because how could we not, is what I say. How could we not feel so many things when being human for so many, at least for me, who is a deeply sensitive person, who at 46 years old is just barely understanding what it means to not take things personally. Of course I feel the way I do. And even just saying that brings tears to my eyes because, yeah, if I could have my way, I'd be living a very different life right now. But I get to raise my son, and I choose to work for myself, which is its own. I've been self-employed since I was 18, and I'm now 46. So that's a long time to be self-employed as a sacred weirdo, as I like to say. None of my work has ever been mainstream. And I made it work. But there's a cost to that. there's a cost. I would love, if I could have my way, I'd take my boy and a villa and my favorite people. We'd go to nature, and I'd have chickens, and I'd raise bees, and we'd have nights by the fire, and we'd all have our private spaces because we need our own space, but also we'd have communal kitchen time, and we'd walk barefoot, and I could make that happen if I could make it happen. Lots of people do. I haven't figured that out. This is what I do. I'm co-parenting my son in this city, and I'm grateful for this city because this is the city where I was born. And although I would like to be in a cooler place in the mountains, that is my ultimate dream, this is where I am right now, and I am grateful. But of course, it's going to take a toll on me. Of course I'm tired. Of course my shoulders hurt. Of course I have low back pain. Of course I have anxiety that shows up like I'm having a heart attack. Of course. It's not my body against me. It's my body trying to protect me. I really recommend Nicole Sack's podcast, The Cure for Chronic Pain. She can really explain the science behind all of this in a way that I just cannot. But for me, that's been such a big part of this self-love journey. I love my body even when she hurts. I love my body when I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my goodness. I don't even begin to know what I'm looking at sometimes when I look in the mirror. And that's okay. It doesn't derail me. 10 years ago, I look in the mirror. If I didn't like what I saw, derail me into disordered eating and self-hatred and what's wrong with me. You're such a lazy piece of poop. So much negative self-talk. And now I'm like, okay. Okay. And furthermore, I believe that not liking what I see in the mirror is in fact an opportunity to see my beauty in others. Looking at myself isn't where I see my beauty. It's looking at other people who love me, at my clients, at the people I photograph, at my son, at my husband. That's where I can really, really beyond see, feel my beauty. And furthermore, as I've done this work, every time I see a beautiful woman, I feel like I'm a part of that beauty. I can see her beauty and feel it in me as well, because we're all connected. Whereas I learned as like an 11-year-old girl to be in competition with every pretty girl, because as if beauty is scarce and we just gotta rope in a guy, because that's what I understood as important. Well, in fact, every beautiful woman I see is a little nugget, is a little gift. Wow, thank you for reminding me how beautiful we are. I can tap into the beauty that I see in others and feel it within myself. I don't even need to look in the mirror for that. So I do believe that not liking how I look in the mirror is in fact a prompt for me to find my beauty elsewhere. Also, when I walk in nature, when I go to the hot springs, I feel so beautiful. There's no mirrors around, and I feel so beautiful. So, what if the things we actually didn't like about ourselves were in fact prompts to pivot? And how can we be so kind to ourselves that we take care of this body in a kind way? You've probably heard this before, but we must speak to ourselves the way we would speak to someone we love. So if we want to do anything, whether it's lose weight or anything at all, change behaviors, how would we speak to a friend about changing those things or expanding those things? And a lot of people think that you have to sort of be a hard on yourself to get anything done. And I really don't believe that at all. I don't. Maybe, I mean, who knows? Maybe it works for some people, but I don't personally feel like any life on earth, any animal, any plant does well under harsh shame. What flourishes in harsh shame? Please tell me. Now, sometimes when I look in the mirror and I'm like, oof, maybe we should get to the gym. Okay, maybe that might motivate me to get to the gym, but going to the gym will not ever again be tied to how I hope it makes my body look. That is a losing battle. Because my expectation of the body I think I, quote unquote, should have by going to the gym it's a losing game. Plus, the happiness doesn't lie there anyway. The happiness is an inside job. So that's fine if I want to use a little motivation by like, okay, girl, come on. Get that belly into the gym. Fine enough. But why do I go to the gym? To breathe, to build my stamina, to move. For me, it's kind of like a moving meditation. It's breath work. I love breathing. I love sweating, even though, let me be real clear, I don't love it until I actually am in it doing it. I have to do a lot of self-kind talk, love, and accountability. Like, I know, honey, I know you want to skip the gym today. It makes perfect sense. You're exhausted. You're a self-employed, badass bitch. I get it. And baby girl, we're going to go to the gym. It's just like how I talk to my son when he doesn't want to do things like go camping. I'm like, it makes sense. You don't want to go camping. You can be mad at me. We're going camping. That's how I speak to myself too. Okay, fine. We're going to the gym. I get there, and then all of a sudden I get into my rhythm. I'm like, yeah, why was this so hard for me? Why is this so hard? Oh. And the last year I have this little gym at my new townhouse. This last year, I've been so consistent. I haven't lost a single pound. Not a single pound. But guess what? That's fine by me. What I have noticed is increased stamina. I've noticed my ability to do massage with more strength increases. I noticed my ability to squat. I noticed the strength in my body. When I'm having a lot of anxiety, going to the gym also is really good because it helps move it through. It's almost like it squeezes it out, but I really am intentional with my breath work when I'm at the gym. So I know that I'm really using that as a breath work session as I So self-kindness allows for flourishing. Self-kindness has direct health benefits. Now, does that mean you're going to get mad at yourself for getting mad at yourself? No. It means you're going to bring your awareness. If you're someone who's very highly critical, if you're a bit of a perfectionist and you give yourself a hard time about all the things, what you're going to do is bring your awareness. How and where do you talk to yourself in a way that you would never talk to anyone else? Or maybe you would talk to someone you really dislike that way. And bring your gentle curiosity there. There's no one way to do this. And can we begin by managing our expectations that it's messy? Implementing self-kindness in a world that is always like wanting to make a victim and a hero, whether that's within our own self-talk or anywhere, and instead just, okay, yep, there was that critical voice again. All right, deep breath, pause, take 2. Actually, hey, makes sense that you're tired. It makes sense that you feel anxiety right now. I'm so proud of you. Good job. It really helps to place a hand onto your heart or onto your belly when we speak to ourselves this way. And self-kindness leads to direct health benefits. We have the power to heal so much of our pain. Now, does that mean that we're pain-free? Well, at least for me, no. But I'm not afraid of my pain. I've been able to, through my rage journaling, what Nicole Sass calls journal speak, through journal speak, and through sacred rage, and especially through breath work, I've been able to cure my chronic migraines, which is I did that years ago, and I'm still blown away. I still get migraines here and there, maybe a couple a year. I used to get sick all the time. I get sick maybe once a year, sometimes no times a year. I still get pain in my body, but I'm not afraid of it. And I'm like, uh-oh. Like I wake up with a low back pain a lot, and I'm not afraid. To me, it's my body saying, I have a lot. Can we do some breath work? I'm holding on to a lot. To me, the pain in my body is her speaking to me. It is a language no one has taught us. And it's one I'm still learning, but I'm so passionate about. And I will say it requires a lot of patience. A lot of patience. A lot of curiosity. And most important, a lot of gentle self-kindness. So that's the main way. Most of my life, I was so afraid of being seen as ugly. Oh, I was so afraid. When I was I think it started around the time of when the sexual abuse started, when I was around 8 or 9. I stopped being able to look in the mirror clearly. I liked looking in the dark with maybe a candle. But I became very self-critical of my skin. I had acne, and I was very obsessed with my body. Granted, a lot of the adults commented on my body, and specifically about, oh, you're fat, or, you've lost weight. And I really allowed the opinions of other people to shape how I felt about my body. And, oh my goodness. So this fear of being seen as ugly, it's almost like I feel like I was letting people down. If I'm really honest, like I feel like if I were ugly, I was like disappointing people. If I was fat, I was disappointing people. And I also thought I was worthless and not valuable because I've always been kind of big. That's how this body likes to be. I've also been very thin, but I got there with some severe disordered eating. And like I said, it did not bring me happiness. I wish I knew what I knew now then, but I didn't. And that's probably because I needed to go on that journey in order to know what I know now. My point is, I'm okay to be seen as ugly now. It's okay. In fact, what if ugly is just the other side of the same coin where beautiful lives? I feel it is. What if ugly was as precious and sacred as beautiful? My favorite creatures are toads. I feel like they get the rep of ugly. And I just think they're the most precious little creatures. I love toads. I just love toads. I also love owls. But I just love a little toad. And are they ugly? Or are they just a version that maybe it's the other side of the same coin of beautiful. Maybe it's all the same thing, in fact. So I really, when I started to embrace words like ugly and fat, like, okay, cool, I was able to free myself from defining who I am by what people say, because my whole life I let people define me with what they said. Oh, are you pregnant? No. Oh my gosh, am I too fat? Spiral, spiral, spiral. Oh, you really need to have bangs. You have a big forehead. Okay. You really need this. You really need that. You need to change. You need to get thinner. You need to get fatter. You need to... And here's the thing. For a long time, I was very mad. I went for like a rebellious stage of like, stop commenting other people's bodies. And yes, I wish we would. And eventually I think we will evolve from just the very low level talk of commenting on each other's bodies and how we look. But at the same time, I also love being complimented. It feels really good. Most of all, I love complimenting other people, but in a way that doesn't bring a specific attention to something. I don't want them to think that they're valuable just because of that thing. But compliments are so beautiful. So I think the opportunity is to really feel so safe in ourselves that people can say the heck they want to say. You know, when I lost a lot of weight, that was like in 2010, I believe. Oh my, I lost a lot of weight. It was the thinnest I'd ever been. And everywhere I went in Tucson, people would comment, oh, you're so thin. Oh my gosh, Jade, is that you? You're so thin. You look so good. And I was really sick. I was heartbroken. A boyfriend had broken up with me. And one of his main reasons was because I was too fat. But honestly, it was probably more than just that. I was also very jealous that he went rock climbing with this girl all the time. So, you know, it wasn't a healthy relationship. But what stuck with me was that he said, you're too fat. And so then I lost a ton of weight and everyone's saying how great I look. But I had done it from such a sad grief. Oh, poor baby girl. I love going back to those times and holding her, remothering 30-year-old Jade. But yeah, people would comment, and so I get so angry. I'm like, why do people have to comment? Why? And then I'd gain weight. People, oh, are you pregnant? Are you? Like, oh my gosh, can people please stop? And yes, I would love it if we could stop, like I just said. But here's the real opportunity. People are gonna say what they're gonna say. How can we love ourselves so fiercely and know that what folks want to tell us actually has nothing to do with us? Their perception, their projection has nothing to do with us. And so, like, specifically, a big trigger for me was when my mom or my dad would comment on my weight. And how I learned how to feel safe with that is like, I know my mom and my dad both have body image stuff. They would never admit it, or at least they never have to me. But both of them have a lot of body stuff, and they projected that onto me. And so now my mom doesn't do it because I have asked her. I've had some boundaries around that. But even if she did, it's okay. She can comment. Because I know that that's her journey. It actually has nothing to do with me. I also know that both of my parents subscribed to to be successful, you have to be thin. And so really what I think a lot of parents don't even realize they're doing by projecting thinness onto their kids is they want them to be successful in a world that values thinness. But they don't realize it's actually really harmful for a lot of us. I don't think maybe there's some that are fine with it, but I know for thousands of women that I have worked with, and myself included, commenting on our fatness or like you have to go on a diet or something, it just created a lot of problems. It created a lot of problems. Now, for me, I see those problems as opportunity to heal, an opportunity to make art from, and opportunities to be empathetic and close to other people. But now people can say what they're going to say. But could you use the discomfort you feel, if you feel uncomfortable when people comment on how you look or how you behave or any such thing, can you use that as an opportunity for self-exploration? Because remember, triggers are little inner compasses for our own healing. Imagine feeling so safe that people can say the heck they want to say about us. Oh man. And the thing is, I've had a lot of practice online because I used to be really prolific online, and people tell me I'm an ugly fat bitch. They tell me all kinds of things. And I'm like, okay, they're allowed. They're actually allowed to think that if they want to. Because guess what? I love this body. And I'm also at peace with there's things I don't like about this body. But that'll never, ever for a minute change my love. I also think I have a lot of flaws that I'm continuing to heal. I'm okay that I make mistakes. I know that sometimes, I know I have dark parts that I'm still healing, that I want to evolve, I want to expand. I don't need to pretend like I'm the most moral, virtuous person, because I am not. But I have my hand in my heart, and I have my feet to the earth, and I'm aware. I like what Nicole Sachs says. She says, we're not responsible for our first reaction because it's kind of like touching the flame, you know? Her hand just naturally, if we touch something hot, we have a reaction just to pull away, right? Well, the same with a lot of our initial reactions with triggers or things in relationship, things we don't mean to say. We're not responsible for our first reaction, but we are responsible for our second one. So how do we want to say it? I notice myself sometimes I feel kind of snappy around my son because he's the one who I'm with the most. And I hear myself and I'm like, ooh, it's almost like someone else is speaking. I'm like, whoa. And I have to pause and take a deep breath. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say it that way. I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? And the cool thing is now that I catch it pretty quickly, but I'm no master and I still hurt people and I want to make amends and do better. And some people I just have to have strong boundaries too, and I'm okay with that as well. But I don't want to wish them ill or talk any negative words. There's some people I need boundaries with, but I still love them. I just maybe don't like them. But I love them. That's what I feel like this love is. It's like I can love someone that I don't want to be around. I can love someone who maybe I don't really like. Moon, my dog, keeps wanting to bark. No barking. No barking. So, can you get curious about this? I invite you to get curious. How can we practice loving this precious, precious body home to your spirit on this earth? Even if you don't like some things sometimes, or a lot of the times. And could the not liking, perhaps, not all, but maybe some of it, are little pointers to something to pivot on. Like for me, instead of looking in the mirror to find my beauty, I look to others to find my beauty. Could the things we not like actually be indicators for more greatness, more evolving, more expansion? And could we actually have the power, little by slowly, not perfect, not all the pain to go away, but to heal ourselves by tending to our emotions, by tending to how it is for your particular body to function in this current paradigm? That body of yours right now is a really good body. That body is ancient wisdom, old ancient wisdom passed down, functioning in a world that hasn't existed, at least for the last many thousands of years. The world that we're living in today is not one that our human body truly, fully understands. And while there's no lion chasing us, there is a lot of repressed emotions settling into our body that our nervous system reads as a lion chasing us. So how can we commit to completing our stress cycles through breath work and journaling and sacred rage ceremonies and breath with the tongue out, movement, exercise, punching? What is your particular stress completion? And I want to be really clear. I don't feel like stress is the problem. I feel like, I'm too stressed. No, I think, again, like anything, stress is actually a good thing. It can be in the right doses, right? It's chronic stress that is a thing. It's chronic dysregulation. It's chronic repressing of emotions that leads to body pain and illness. So let's not throw out everything, but let's bring more curiosity and more kindness. Because I feel like that truly can lead us to enjoying these cute little meat sacks that our soul lives on this particular time on earth. And how can we hold pain and gratitude at the same time? That's what I do a lot as well. It's like, okay, this body feels kind of stiff right now. She's sweating because it's hot. Oh, but this breath is so precious and so sacred. I'm grateful for my beating heart and my lungs. I'm grateful for the homeostasis in my body. I'm grateful that my stomach and intestines know how to digest my lunch that I had today. And I'm grateful for the blood pumping through this precious body. And I'm grateful for pain even because it is trying to speak to me. I'm still just in learning of the language of pain. But I'm not afraid of it. Not one bit. So, how can you bring more self-kindness? Maybe you're already there. Maybe you speak to yourself like someone you deeply love. And if you do, thank you. And if you're just starting out and practicing, thank you as well. I do believe that the kinder we are and to ourselves, that becomes a magnet for other people to also be kinder to themselves. The more healing that we do on ourselves allows that space and magnetizes others into that space to do their healing. The more we accept our rejected parts, it magnetizes others to accept their rejected parts. This is a collective spiral effect. Every accepting and every thank you and every gratitude for this body, even the pain, magnetizes someone else to do the same. So thank you wherever you are in your journey, and I wish you so much self-compassion and kindness and so much breath in that precious body. In fact, let's take a few breaths together. Inhale through your mouth. Stick out your tongue. Shake out your hands. Inhale through your mouth. Roll your shoulders back. Open your heart. Exhale. Tongue sticks out. Shake your shoulders. Roll your neck. Inhale through your mouth. Stick out your tongue. Stomp your feet. Shake your hands. Hands to your heart. body's a good body. I love this body even if I don't always like this body. I love this whole person even if I don't always like this whole person. I am grateful to learn to love this body as I love this body. I love Earth more. I love others more. This body is just water and stardust. Earth made into human form. The more I love this body, the more I love Earth, and the more I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sending you so much kindness, and I'll see you next week. Bye. And if you're still here, would you mind liking this podcast or sharing it with a friend? I'd be so grateful. Thank